Hey guys, in this video I have the GPD XD portable Android gaming system courtesy of GearBest. This is a portable gaming device running Android 4.4.4 KitKat. It may seem a bit out of date, but for gaming 4.4 is fine. So included in the box you have your micro USB cable, as well as a USB power adapter to charge your device, as well as using it to hook up to your computer to copy your files over. And it also includes a screen protector, which is really nice of them because it will help protect your screen from getting scratches. And there is a manual as well. The XD looks a lot like the Nintendo 3DS XL with its clamshell design. This gaming device is the ideal device for emulators. It features your typical D-pad, 4 buttons and triggers on the top. It also has dual analog sticks for first-person shooters. It has a bunch of other buttons for back, home, start, and select. And the built-in controls makes this a really good device for gaming. So here on the back, you'll see the headphone jack, the HDMI output, and the micro USB port, as well as a micro SD card slot. And in the front, this is where the controls are. You can see that it has the analog sticks on both sides. The dual analog sticks are great for first-person shooters, and it features the D-pad as well as the X, Y, A, and B buttons that you find on most modern game controllers. And on the back, you will find the trigger buttons, the R1, R2, L1, L2. This unit has 64 gigabytes of flash storage with 2 gigabytes of RAM. There are 16 gigabyte and 32 gigabyte models if you don't need that much storage. It features the Rockchip RK3288 quad-core running at a max rate of 1800 megahertz. It also has a 5-inch LCD touchscreen with a resolution of 1280 by 720, and with a 6000 milliamp hour battery, the battery life is actually pretty good. It does have Wi-Fi built in like all Android devices, but unfortunately Bluetooth is missing from this unit. I use this device primarily for emulation. I usually play most of my games on a PlayStation Vita, but the GPD XD is more versatile since it can run most apps from the Google Play Store. The hinge on the screen is nice and stiff, so it actually doesn't flop around like the original 3DS XL from Nintendo. I remember having one of those and it was very floppy, but as you can see, it's actually very firm and stiff, which I like, but I'll have to see how it is after a couple of years of using it. But right off the bat, you can tell that it is not really that flimsy compared to the 3DS XL. The surface is very glossy and it tracks a lot of fingerprints, so you do have to wipe it down quite a bit. And this model, as you can see, is 64 gigabytes, and you can usually tell by the little sticker on the bottom. It's just like any Android tablet or smartphone, so you can watch movies, play music, or even browse the web. However, this thing is more geared towards gaming with its built-in game controls. Along with games from the Play Store, you can load up emulators for your favorite consoles. I also use it as a comic book reader with Pick Viewer, and it works really well with the volume buttons to turn the pages. With the HD 720p display, the text is sharp and crisp. It's also a really good ebook reader, and I use it quite a bit to read my textbooks and novels. I'm running this stock, but you can also run Legacy ROM on it, which overclocks the CPU and removes unnecessary apps and essentially gives you a more stock Android appearance. I'll be using it the way it was intended out of the box, but plan to flash it with Legacy ROM eventually. It comes with Metro Launcher, and you can change it to something else like Nova Launcher if you like, but I think Metro Launcher works really well with the D-pad controls. There are some games and emulators already preloaded and set up on the Metro Launcher, and a couple of them are KO Box and Happy Chick. Both of them are emulators which will search and download ROMs for you. This is great for people who don't want to go hunting for ROMs or figuring out what emulators to use. So there are categories and listings in the apps to easily find the game that you want to play. And for the most part, they work pretty well, but I prefer to download and run my own emulators from the Google Play Store. So now I'll show you how to quickly flash your GPD XD with Legacy ROM. Flashing any device can potentially brick it, so make sure your device is charged and you're willing to accept the risks involved when something bad happens. Anyways, if you still want to update to Legacy ROM, please continue watching this video. So for those who don't know, Legacy ROM is a custom ROM that removes most of the unnecessary apps that came with the XD and gives you a stock Android launcher. You can then install your own emulators and games. It'll be rooted and allow for better compatibility since it'll spoof itself as a Nexus 5 smartphone. There are two methods to flash Legacy ROM. One involves using the RK batch tool and plugging the GPD XD to your PC to flash it, and a simpler method that just involves copying the IMG file to your SD card and then inserting it into the XD. So I'm going to show you the latter. First thing is to download the latest ROM. I'm going to download the 1.8 gigahertz no joystick version and not the new Nally version. Links to it will be in the description. There may be a new version by the time you view this video, so make sure you check the description and links for updated information. Next thing you want to do is to uncompress the RAR file, and then you are left with a folder, and then you can copy the update.img folder to your microSD card, and it's recommended that you have a smaller microSD card, like something like 16 gigabytes and formatted in FAT32 format. And the next thing you want to do is stick the microSD card into the back of the XD, and it should pop up asking you if you want to install it. So all you have to do is hit the install, and it will give you a warning, and basically it will shut itself off, and then it will reboot and then start installing the new Legacy ROM firmware. It's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes, so I'm going to fast forward through this part so you don't have to wait. So after it's done, it should reboot and start up and ask you which launcher you want to use. I have Nova Launcher installed already, so it's going to ask me which one I prefer. And I'm going to show you the default one, which is Launcher 3, and select it and go Always. And that will be the default launcher from now on. And as you can see, it's running basically the standard Android launcher, and the Metro launcher is gone. So it's a much simpler interface. And in the settings page, you can see that it's running Legacy ROM XD KitKat version 4.4.4. So that's the easy way to flash your GPD XD to Legacy ROM. There is another method, like I said, but I won't go through that. But there are videos on YouTube that show you how to do the more complicated method by using the RK batch tools if you're interested. So when I travel, I used to bring my PS Vita as my main gaming portable to run emulators and play games. I also bring an Android tablet with me for web browsing and email. Now with the GPD XD, I can just bring it along and leave the tablet at home. If they made a 7-inch version with built-in game controls and a keyboard, and it was running Android, it'd be the perfect portable for me. I really like the form factor of this device. When on a plane, you can easily put it up on the seat tray and tilt up the screen to watch your videos. I have quite a few of these portable gaming devices, from the PS Vita to the Nintendo Switch. I find the Nintendo Switch a little bit too big, and really it's only as a gaming device. I can't really use it for anything else. The XD is just a more versatile system, considering it can run applications as well as games, and I will probably be using it more often as it's something that I would travel with. And considering it's also smaller and it folds up nicely to protect the screen compared to the PS Vita, which has the screen exposed, I definitely prefer the XD as my travel device for entertainment. Anyways, I'm going to play out this video by showing you some more game demos. If you like what you see, comment, like, share, or subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.